Good morning and welcome to Veterans Heartbeat on the Pulse of the Veteran, where we discuss issues of health, happiness, opportunity, and well-being of interest to the veteran community, their families, and the community who honors them.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Veterans Heartbeat, brought to you by River, the Rural Institute for Veterans Education and Research. My name is Jason Zentgraf. My co-host is Ed Lazowski here with me. He's the Executive Director of River. We welcome you to a weekly wide-ranging discussion of issues, events, opportunities, needs, all these different types of things in our veteran community. Good morning, Ed. How are you doing?
Good morning, Jason. I'm doing well. It's going to be an interesting show today.
Yeah, we got a pretty good one. We're going to be going over recreational therapy, what it is, what it isn't, and how much fun it can be and how beneficial and therapeutic it can be to anyone, but especially veterans. We would like to thank our sponsor, The Man Shop.
Yeah, this week we just went out and had a haircut, and there was a lot of great stuff going on there at the Man Shop. The gals are really attentive, and the guys are really enjoying their haircuts there.
Absolutely. Got a nice scalp massage, too. Not too shabby. We're also sponsored by River, the Rural Institute for Veterans Education and Research. They offer many services to veterans, such as a free weekly vestibular disorder clinic, educational programming that focuses on veterans helping veterans. So today we're going to focus on recreational therapy and how it helps veterans, as well as where to find upcoming events. So a lot of people don't know what recreational therapy is. They hear recreation, they think, kayaking, fishing, things like that. And that's what it is. Unfortunately, they hear that, they see what the activities are, and they say, well, this is just a cheap cop-out. This is an excuse to just go have fun. Well, while it is fun, they're not mutually exclusive. Just because something's fun doesn't mean it can't be therapeutic. When you're sitting there on the river and you hear the water rush by or whatever you're doing, the emphasis today is going to be on outdoor, but whatever you're doing, it is extremely, extremely therapeutic. The doctors now suggest 10 to 30 minutes of just personal time of reflection or meditation or whatever it is you do. Out there fishing, out there kayaking, that is a form of meditation, and it's very peaceful. And when you're there, your anxiety, anger, depression, all these negative things really decrease. Your self-efficacy and your belief in yourself, your self-esteem, all these things raise up. So outdoor recreational therapy is a very good, very fun, very effective way to relieve a lot of that anxiety that everybody feels.
In talking with this show on recreational therapy, the benefits to the veterans can be that a lot of these veterans that are homebound because of disorders can have some camaraderie. We have an exciting guest, Steve Hale, who has been working for the last 6 years in recreational therapy. We have Dr. Frank Yersick, who has studied it from a medical perspective. So today's show will demonstrate that using the kayaks is another extension for the therapist to bring these guys into healing.
Yeah, absolutely. They do a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of nonprofits out there, 501c3s that collect donations, do fundraisers, things like that. One of them we're going to be talking to, Steve Hale. He is one of the guys over at X Sports, and they do a fantastic job over there. They raise money, and they put on an event for any veteran that wants to come out, whether they're having issues or not, and it's a great thing they do. Also, over at River, they have an educational program. It's a year-long program called Outdoor Recreational Therapist. You want to explain what that's all about, Ed?
Well, the Outdoor Recreational Therapist is a program that started out to help some of the guys figure out where they want to go in life. With a college degree, they can actually get hired as a recreational therapist in many locations. What this does is we teach them how to work with veterans with PTSD, work with veterans with different disabilities, so they can get them out and get them into the outdoors. It's a great motivating factor when you have a veteran that is real excited about the outdoors that hasn't been out there in a while, that there's opportunities for them to partake.
Missoula has a very active veterans community, and for this next segment, we are joined by Jim Solomon from the Montana Outdoor Recreation Expo. How are you doing today, Jim?
Hey, I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
Yeah, not too shabby, thank you. So, what are some things veterans should know about the upcoming expo?
Well, there's a number of things. This expo is going to be a family-oriented event. It's going to be a can of food to actually get in. We're going to give the food to the Haven House down in the Bitterroot, as well as to the Missoula Food Bank. For our veterans, I'm reaching out to veterans, any 501c3 veterans group. I've got about 9 spaces left that I would love to get them in there. I want to support our vets in any way that I can, and by doing this, if I'm able to do this with them, then I'd like to have them come in and set up their booth spaces to those that work with vets. Great.
When is this event?
This is going to be July 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Missoula County Fairgrounds. We actually have 5 acres and 5 buildings that we're putting this event on. It's everything outdoors, everything from archery to water skiing.
Fantastic. So what got you into this field of outdoor therapeutic recreation?
Well, it's interesting. I did an outdoor radio show down in Phoenix, Arizona for about 13 years. And during that time, 5 of those years, we put together an outdoor recreation expo that used to be at the Phoenix Civic Plaza. We saw the need for people that weren't learning about the outdoors, and it was kind of becoming lost because kids were getting so buried into their PlayStations and their computer screens and their TV sets that we decided to put this together. So now with this one I'm doing, I came back home to Missoula a year ago, December, and found out that nobody was really doing anything. And Missoula is the hub for the outdoors. We've got 3 rivers running right through the middle of town practically. So I thought, you know what, let's see what I can do. So we've got a 90,000-gallon kayaking pond where people can try kayaking, paddleboarding, rafting, or canoeing in a controlled environment. We've got all 9 tribal nations coming in. They're going to set up teepees and teach classes on drum making and bow making. We have an archery competition with a $500 first prize. It's all moving 3D targets. It's called High Impact Archery. And just a number of other things. We've got a grizzly attack simulation unit coming in. It's about 100 feet long. So there's all these things and more. We've got gold panning for the family. And the guys are actually going to sprinkle gold in there. That's the Morrison, the guys from the Gold Panners Association of America. And then we've got, of course, we're going to be Wayne Carlton, who many that hunt know who he is. The gentleman that wrote the book, the Cartridge Comparison Guide, is going to come and talk about ballistics at the seminars, Andrew Chamberlain, and then we're also going to have Corky Richardson, one of the top bow hunters in the country, coming and talking as well, doing seminars.
Fantastic. Yeah, you got a lot going on. Tell me more about this bear attack simulation. That sounds pretty interesting.
Well, what it is, the guys at UDAP that have the bear spray, they came up with this. It's about 100 feet long, and it's actually a bear on a rail, a full-grown grizzly bear on a rail that they simulate an attack to teach people how to properly use their bear spray. And after finding out how many hunters we had get attacked and some killed last year during the fall season, I thought it'd be a great idea to have these guys come out and show people the proper way to use these.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, that's a pretty good need. I know we lost a couple people, hunters and hikers, bikers. In a bunch of different areas. One up in Yellowstone. So yeah, that's good. Hopefully, be able to save some of our outdoor recreators.
Yeah, I hope so. At least we're going to give it our best shot. This is something, the weather should be perfect for it. It's on the same weekend as the marathon. So after 12 o'clock noon on Saturday, there's nothing for marathoners to do. So we're welcoming them all, inviting them all to come out to the expo and spend the day on a can of food.
So, Jim, what is your website?
The website is www.mtodxpo.com. That's MT for Montana, OD for outdoor, XPO for expo.com.
Well, thank you very much, Jim. It's going to be fun.
Well, guys, I thank you for the time that you let me come on and visit with you.
Absolutely, anytime. Thank you very much, Jim.
Thank you. You guys take care.
You too.
Bye.
Well, it's good to hear from Jim. I'm glad he's got such a fantastic event going on. So if you get a chance, check it out. Again, that's July 7th, 8th, and 9th at the fairgrounds. You just need to bring a can of food, and if you have a 501c3, get a hold of him because he has some prime locations for tables for everyone to kind of walk by and check your stuff out. Welcome back to Veterans Heartbeat. So far, we've gotten an update from Jim Solomon about his outdoor recreation expo coming up. Now we're going to be talking to Steve Hale, who's in control of program operations for X Sports. He's been doing it for about 6 years. How you doing, Steve?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too shabby, thanks. You want to take it away, Ed?
Hey, Steve. How you doing this morning?
Good, Ed. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So, X Sports, you guys were one of the founding nonprofits to address the suicide issue within the state of Montana. And I give you guys props for that. You've been doing a good job for a number of years. We want to delve into a little bit. We heard from Mike Garcia that the Montana VA system doesn't have a recreational therapy program. And I know that you've got your MSW and you've been doing recreational therapy with veterans. Can you delve into that a little bit?
So, the idea of recreational therapy is basically the understanding of taking the veteran to a different kind of platform to work with. It's not an office. You're not laying on a couch. And it's not a solution-focused driven opportunity. You basically get veterans together through an event and basically use that event to create some sort of therapeutic opportunity where veterans are allowed to talk about their challenges, their issues, their concerns, but all while doing it either on the river on a raft, going down the Alberton Gorge on a riverboard, maybe up at Polson Airport doing a trike flying event. It's a really organic opportunity. And I think it allows veterans to kind of let their guard down and work and see other veterans having those same challenges that they are doing and not having some counselor or mental health professional kind of driving the bus for them. They're able to do it from a peer-to-peer aspect. And that recreational therapeutic opportunity through an event allows that to happen. It's kind of an amazing experience to sit back and watch it just unfold without you having to prompt the activity.
At River, we've got the recreational therapy program, and I've heard people say, oh, that's just veterans going out and having a lot of fun, but it sounds like there is true therapy in what this activities can present.
Correct. A lot of people from the outside, when you try to explain it to them, as it was said to us not that long ago, it's, that's the YMCA for veterans. And, that's kind of a misleading observation, especially from somebody that has an understanding of what recreational therapy is. And being able to have, once again, this opportunity, this platform to work within, really allows changes to occur that maybe wouldn't occur in a different environment. That nature has a natural aspect about it to heal when you're in there. Water itself is very therapeutic. A lot of experiences where I've taken veterans down the river, they were having a really bad day, everything was going wrong, and you take them out on the river, and by the end of the event, all that stuff has gone away. They have, a here and now perspective of how things are going, and they're able to share that and kind of get validation through the other veterans, that are having some of the same issues.
So if there are some veterans out there who are having some of these issues or want to meet up with other vets and go on one of your activities on one of your events, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, you can either call me directly at 493-2264, or you can go to our website, xsportsforvets.org, and there's a way to send an email to our main email, and then that winds up getting sent to me. Or you can just send a message through Facebook. So, we have lots of opportunities to kind of make the connection. And, the really great thing is, if you got somebody else that's having a rough go, you can always just bring them along with you. We really encourage people to bring their battle buddies. We try to emulate the peer support and kind of reinstill that camaraderie that a lot of veterans are missing in civilian life.
And since you guys are a nonprofit, you rely a lot on donations and fundraising and things like that. You guys have an event coming up in April, don't you?
Yeah, so it's our first ever annual fundraiser. So that's going to be April 1st from 6 to 9 o'clock down at Kara's Park in the pavilion. So we'll be having a silent auction kind of through local vendors that have been able to donate items. There'll also be a raffle for a 50-50 raffle if you're feeling lucky. There'll also be entertainment by Jason Deshaw, who's a kind of a Montana country music fame, I guess. So there's a lot of, it's a 3-hour event. We'll also be showing kind of like where we've come from in this short amount of time, how it all started. So one of the founders is actually going to be speaking, Jana Kuntz Sherrill. So kind of putting that personality to the nonprofit and, really see that this came from a tragic event that got turned around and made into something really important. So, being able to embrace that and understand what we do and why we do it.
So, Steve, do you have any stories to share about, without naming names, some of the veterans that you have been able to turn around with these kinds of programming?
Oh, so veterans that have gone through our program and we've kind of seen that change, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, I think everybody kind of shows up where they're at. And, and that's where we need to meet the veterans. We've had several veterans come and, the world is just not going right for them. They don't know how to make the safe transition from military life to civilian life. And, they're engaging in high-risk behaviors, a lot of substance abuse, a lot of legal issues, and they come out and start to see kind of a way for them to decompress. They see that going out on the riverboarding once a week, they're able to kind of just unplug from what's going on in their lives. And, they, in these few instances, those legal troubles and those substance abuse issues, they're able to find the resources they need to tackle them, whereas before it was just a really kind of an overwhelming process. So there's a lot of value in being able to engage with other veterans having similar issues, maybe a little further along in kind of their reintegration back home. So everybody is at a different point, and I think that's kind of the important thing about Exports for Vets is people come in where they're at and they're appreciated and valued and invited to keep coming back. And, eventually they're going to be that person that kind of things are working a little bit better for them and they're able to help the next person out. Because when it comes down to it, it's not the VA's responsibility to take care of veterans only. It's not the family's responsibilities to take care of the veterans only. It's the community's responsibility. And this is just one more way the community can help out. And, it's with a community of veterans, but also the community in which we live in.
So what got you started into exports, if you don't mind?
Well, I was a work study at the Vet Center when Jana Kuntz Sherrill was putting the program together. And, my job was to make phone calls and make sure that these veterans were coming out to this event she was planning. And one day I just got asked, it's like, why don't you do this? Why don't you come out and try this event? And I did, and I really liked it. And I really liked hanging around with other veterans and, being able to just talk shop like you'd been, with them for years, and that was very relaxing to me. And then, I went from a participant to a volunteer to, now, I'm helping run the organization, and that's just kind of how it unfolded, and it unfolded really quickly. I see the value in it, and that's why I want to keep participating in it, not just as a participant, but also somebody helping coordinate the program. I have a lot of vested interest in what's going on because I don't like people committing suicide, and I don't like people having challenges when they reintegrate back home, and I don't like seeing all these bad things that are happening, and if I can help out just one person, it all makes it worthwhile.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Well, thank you very much, Steve, for hopping on. We appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you very much, and thanks for putting a plug out for exports.
Now we're going to shift gears and talk to Dr. Urasek, who is the Director of Acupuncture at Cook County Hospital. How you doing, Frank?
Doing great. How are you, Jason?
Doing fantastic. You want to take it away, Ed?
Sure. Dr. Urasek, you've been working with veterans for the past millennial, and even at your age, I have seen you hoist up 250-pound veterans. So you know the value of the exercise and the recreational therapy.
Yes.
We did receive a email from Mike Garcia, who was on the show last week, stating that there is no recreational therapy programs within the VA, so it's left to a lot of the nonprofits around the state of Montana. Can you kind of give us a little bit of benefit, mental and physical, of what recreational therapy is all about?
Yeah, I'd like to start, Ed, with my training in China in acupuncture. We had a pretty hard day, would start about 7 o'clock in the morning. The hospital I worked at would see 10,000 outpatients a day for everything. I'd see between 20 and 40 patients in 4 hours. So it was very important as part of my training to be out there early in the morning doing Tai Chi or Qigong exercises. So this whole idea of fitness as a part of being able to work well is really embedded in this in the work habits of an East Asian medical practitioner such as myself. And I've incorporated that in a lot of my work with veterans, with PTSD and pain. I've seen about 5,000 veterans so far. I see about 1,000 a year, and teaching them how to take better care of themselves using exercise is very important. The nice thing about recreational exercise is it takes it up a notch. We know just generally that exercise produces serotonin, it produces endorphins, it produces the body's own natural painkillers and muscle relaxants. So from that point of view, physiologically, it's very important. There's another aspect as well, though, and that is being motivated to accomplish something outside of your scope of concern for your own well-being. And I first recognized this in work done by Dr. Morita from Japan, who has something called Meaningful Life Therapy, where he has people struggling with terminal disease training to climb Mount Fuji. So this whole idea of being in training to accomplish a goal, a short-term goal, really says a lot for the ability to move out of despair, move out of depression, move out of a set way of life that's really encumbering and causing a lot of suffering. So those are kind of some insights in my personal life and in the work that I do with veterans and other patients.
A lot of times we see the family members watching somebody with post-traumatic stress or PTSD suffering, and they're not sure what to do. So getting these guys involved in some of these local recreational therapy programs is key to their recovery, from what you're telling me.
Yeah, and then there's the aspect of teamwork, because you're in a situation where different people have different roles, and leadership skills come forward, and working as a team comes forward as well, which I think helps to transition people from a in theater or in a under pressure situation to one where there's still pressure, but not the same as if one is in field.
Really interesting, and I appreciate your time, Dr. Yersik. And I know you've made several trips up to Montana working with veterans, and we appreciate it.
I love it. I love it. I love the country.
Well, we appreciate your time today, and we will be talking to you on your next trip to Montana.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank. Have a good day.
Yes, thank you, Jason. Okay.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for listening to Veterans Heartbeat. We'd not be able to bring this to you without all the support of the listeners. We really appreciate it. Thank you again to the Man Shop for sponsoring the show. If you're in need of a great haircut, swing on by, get a snip. Lastly, thank you to our main sponsor, River, the Rural Institute for Veterans Education and Research. They have an array of services such as veterans-focused education, free vestibular disorder clinic, and many more services, so check them out on Facebook or on the web at riverofchange.org. Finally, I'd like to thank all the veterans out there for serving our country and keeping it safe. Thank you.